Gulf of Mexico oil rig leak could take weeks or months to plug. It could be weeks or months before the oil leak from the sunken Gulf Coast oil rig is plugged, officials said on Monday, adding that a rig 10 miles away was evacuated earlier in the day as it became surrounded by a growing sheen of oil. It's estimated that at least 1,000 barrels of crude, or 42,000 gallons, are being released into Gulf waters each and every day. Efforts to have robotic submersibles activate a shutoff valve has so far failed, and BP, which was having the well drilled when it exploded last week, killing 11 workers, is now building a dome meant to capture the oil and then pipe it up to the surface, although that has never been attempted at such depths. And that could also take weeks, said Doug Suttles, BP's Chief Operating Officer for Global Exploration. An even longer-term option would be to drill 1 or 2 wells nearby that would reroute the oil. A drilling rig was expected to arrive at the site Monday night in anticipation of that strategy. The federal response team said it would do whatever it takes to make sure the leak is plugged. We're in this for the long haul, said Coast Guard Rear Admiral Mary Landry. The spill seemed manageable last Thursday, 2 days after the rig exploded and sank off the Louisiana coast. But it has turned into a much more serious environmental problem, or disaster, after a new leak was discovered on Saturday. Officials have been trying for days to use remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, to activate a blowout preventer aboard the sunken Deepwater Horizon. The preventer is essentially a cut-off valve at the wellhead. On Sunday, crews operated a ROV nearly a mile below the surface of the Gulf of Mexico, but were unable to activate the switch. Those efforts are expected to continue, but other options listed by the Federal Office of Response and Restoration include: use an undersea dome to contain leaking oil rigged by ROVs, an idea that has not been tried at this depth before; drill relief wells to deter the oil, and which could then be plugged, a process that could take several months; continue aggressive skimming and dispersing of oil on the surface using boat crews. Oil was oozing slowly toward the coast on Monday, endangering hundreds and hundreds of miles of marshes, barrier islands, and white sand beaches in 4 states, from Louisiana to Florida. The areas home to dolphins, seabirds, prime fishing grounds, and tourist destinations could be fouled later this week if crews can't cap the drilling pipe some 5,000 feet below the surface. The oil sheen is at 1,800 square miles and growing as of Monday afternoon. The spill, moving slowly north and spreading east and west, was approximately 30 miles from the Chandelier Islands off the Louisiana coast. The National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration said it would likely be several days before any oil reaches the coast. An oceanographer and executive director at the Dauphin Island Sea Lab in Alabama said he was studying wind and ocean currents driving the oil. He said Pensacola, Florida, is likely the edge of the threatened area. I don't think anybody knows with confidence what the effects will be, he said. We've never seen anything like this magnitude. Again, we've never seen anything like this magnitude. In Louisiana, Governor Bobby Jindal asked the Coast Guard to deploy oil containment booms in the Passaic Loutre Wildlife Area, a 115,000-acre preserve that is home to alligators, birds, and fish near the mouth of the Mississippi River. In Mississippi, the governor was uncertain what steps his state might take to protect its beaches. It's a real difficulty in trying to determine what defenses will be effective, he said. A fleet of boats and containment equipment was working to corral and skim oil from the surface of the Gulf, but a weather system that spawned deadly tornadoes in Louisiana and Mississippi and heavy seas over the weekend forced crews to suspend their efforts. The leak is estimated to be releasing approximately, again, 42,000 gallons a day. And this is an environmental catastrophe or disaster in the making. And yes, these are more signs, because everything is connected and everything is numbered. Luke chapter 21, 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with partying and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. 35. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. 36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are coming to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And these are more signs of the end times, transition days. The transition is a process. Everything that must change for the better, quickly or rapidly. And yes, these are more signs.